I hope you're all having a good evening. Welcome to the Group 2 Power BI presentation. I'll go ahead and introduce the team first. There's myself, Sargon, Ivy, Thomas, Jay, Kulsum, Anik, and Mylene. Get this. Okay, so the company that we chose for the Power BI analysis is a company called Olist, and they're an e-commerce platform in Brazil, similar to Amazon, where all kinds of different products and services are bought and sold all across the country of Brazil. And just to draw you a comparison of the size of Olist as compared to Amazon, in 2022, Olist had an annual net income of 1.5 billion. Compared that to Amazon's 33.3 billion, it's almost no comparison. But just to give you a size of the company, Amazon is king, of course, we all know that. And pictured here is Bruno Martins, and he's the Chief Technology Officer at Olist. And he credits their success into the billion-dollar range as having to do with their partnership with Meta, which is, as you know, Mark Zuckerberg's platform. So they formed a partnership, and that's what catapulted them up into the billions. Now, the business issues we are trying to solve through this Power BI analysis, we're looking for ways to expand the customer base and scale the Olist enterprise, which involves an in-depth look at sales revenue growth, expense management, and inventory ability. And we'll move to the next one. The data set was made public by Olist themselves, and it's available on the Kaggle website. And it's rated a 10 for usability. It offered a really great environment to sift through all different layers of data. And we actually started with 9 of the files, but we reduced it down to 6 to make it more compact and less bulky for the Power BI platform. But we added a custom calendar date table with a hierarchy, and so that actually made it 7. And for the data cleaning, we did all the pretty much standard cleaning methods that we learned in the class. We removed nulls, duplicates, errors. We split columns, removed columns, added columns. We renamed column headers, dealt with missing values. And what came in really handy was the column quality box in the query editor. If you all remember learning that, there's a little screenshot of it there. And that brought up some errors, as you can see in the little screenshot there. Next. So our entity relationship diagram, ERD model view, we have a classic snowflake schema. And you can see there in the middle, the values table with the sigmas. And we had many to one and one to ones in there. So, and what makes it different from the Starflake is there's 2 tables there in the center instead of 1. And moving on, now I'm going to turn it over to Thomas to continue the rest of the intro. Take it away, Thomas.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Yeah, I'd like to, I don't know if Steve mentioned, our slideshow is just pretty much a high-level 10,000-foot thing, so we're going to hit some of these really fast, and then we'll hand it over to Sargon and some other folks to actually take a dive into the Power BI stuff kind of live. So just to go through it quickly, yes, we had sales decomposition tree analysis, so that's just one of the many visuals that we put together. Like I said, we'll definitely see more of that in detail a little bit later. Some of the other stuff we did was forecasting. And of course, you see the sort of, the funnel of, not a difference, the funnel of not knowing how much could change. And we have 3 dashboards here. The reason why we have 3 of them is that, we kind of ran into the same challenges as Jeff's team did. How do we merge all this work that different people are doing? And we kind of decided or kind of ran across the idea of, instead of having 8 people coming up with 8 different sets of dashboards and doing all this stuff in parallel and having to mash it together, that would just be a big spaghetti mess. Likewise, if we just did one of them altogether, then we wouldn't be able to do some things in parallel. We'd have to do everything in serial. First clean the data, then someone transform it, then someone do the VEX, then someone do the visuals. So we came up with this kind of middle ground where we had 3 kind of big versions of them that people had input into. And basically at the end of the day, we tried to mix them together to a certain extent. We ran out a little time, so we ended up going with the demo with the ones that we think fulfill the requirements for the assignment best. Okay, the KPIs, again, we'll have different KPI screen to look at it, but it's the typical, how many products do you have? Are you hitting the customer count? Is your revenue doing well? Okay, and we spent some time on the Power BI service and trying to collaborate through that. We had some success with that, but a lot of it was challenges. A lot of it was user, getting users into the tenant or not having access. The troubleshooting of that stuff was a little bit difficult too, because it wasn't always clear what subscriptions or licensing you should have. A lot of the searches came up with information for the wrong type of thing. So maybe for the wrong type of license or even the wrong year of the software version. So we couldn't always tell what was going on unless we actually just tried to do it. So we didn't get to the point where we were collaborating through Power BI service, but some of us did get it up and running individually. And here we go. I mentioned the successes. Some people got it up, and as some kind of workarounds to that, we did do collaboration with the versions that I mentioned through that, and also careful manual sharing. Kind of a side effect was all of us got to do some M code using in the advanced editor and learning to do things like making sure the data source path and so forth were correct. Okay, our big challenges in learning. I'll just summarize this slide really fast, and then we can get to the more fun stuff. Mostly same kind of challenges that Jeff's team had. Time was a big one, both individually and as a team. So we, also came up with some solutions for that. The service problems, we could have done a service work earlier and doing some more things in parallel. And basically for all these things, we could have maybe put a time box on stuff and just say, okay, we're going to merge now, and that would be that, or start some of the things, look at it a little bit more, see what else we could do in parallel or have started earlier. Okay, lots of successes, and again, I won't read through all the slide stuff here, but 2 categories I think you can divide the successes into. Number 1, everyone came to the table with different experience, so from beginner to more advanced levels, but everyone was able to make some kind of contribution, whether it's criticism or actual coding, whatever the case. And number 2, same kind of idea, different skill levels, beginning, advanced, intermediate, and even though we had this wide range of people, everyone learned something, and that was great, collaborating with everybody together like that, because in the end, people shared what they learned, and it was a good experience for everybody. And that says Project 2024, Sargon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so just point me where you want me to go, Sargon.
Okay. So here, this is the main. This is the main dashboard. We in our data set here, we have chosen 3 KPIs, which is the standard sales, customers, and items sold. Those are the products sold, and underneath each of these KPIs, we have just chosen some of the visuals that represent some details about each KPI, and then all the way to the bottom, that's we went to more details showing more drill down of that particular KPI. On the left side, you're going to see some drill down filters that we added. Moving to the next page, cells. Here in the what if analysis.
Oops, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Yeah. So here in what if analysis, we have implemented the parameter, the numeric parameter technique in order to show the effect of percentage of changing percentage of the price change. How would that affect the next level of our sales? So if you look at the left side, you're going to see the sales of 2018 was 7.23, and of so if you change the price in a percentage desired number, you will see that the numbers on the right side will increase accordingly. And at the bottom, you'll see it in graph. The bottom right, you're going to see it as table broken down in all of the span of the year. So that was really a simplest way of implementing the parameter, the numeric parameter, into what if analysis. Moving next page, key influencers. Here, the visual is showing that our main key influencer, which is the product sales, and how much effect that would have on this total amount of the sales. So roughly for every 2,500 increase in the product sold, it will give us about 280,000 increase in sales. So that was, again, that was an implementation for key influencers. Moving to the next page, for forecast sales. This is just a span and a forecast. Just to mention, our data set that we got from Kaggle.com was actually provided what seems apparently is a test from test environment. It wasn't a production data set. So, and they were limited from 2016 to 2018. So we assumed that we are at 2018. So we created a span of 4 years forecast, and that what the AI was given us in a way. But few I think Steve mentioned it. Just go back for a minute, Thomas, to the forecast. Yeah. So Steve was mentioning in 2022, Olis, they made about 1 point something billion. If and only if, I think that number would have been more accurate if we got productional data. That number would have been reflected on our forecast more, kind of closer to what the reality is. But because our data set has a test, what was driven from a test environment, so these numbers does not reflect really what's going on the real world, And moving next to the next slider, we and this visual here, we have chosen to break down this tree into years and the customer state, customer city, and the product category. So within each level, you can go and see and explore all those parent to child kind of streaming of these data. I mean, nothing complicated here. It's just, go browse for what's needed to be analyzed. And in the last page, we have the tooltip, a simple tooltip that was implemented to be reflected on the first page. So if you go to Thomas, if you go to sales analysis, the first page, just move around, like let's say the top visual, you'll see a reflection of the tooltip. Those were one of the requirements, and
It says total 6 page. First page for the financial, second for the review, third for the location, fourth for the prediction, and fifth for the decomposition tree, and sixth for the narratives. So first page financial, this is 3 KPIs: total revenue, orders, and customers. This is a top 10 category products. This is sales by the payment, and this is a total monthly sales. And this is a here is the slicers, all 3 slicers here. And here you can see the play button. You can see the by quarterly sales. And let me go on second place. This is a review scores by the reviews like excellent, and this is a review score by the delivery. And this is a tables I created for the delivery days and as per the review score and as per the customer state. And this is a average days to delivery to the customer, average days to deliver the carrier, and this is the average review score for all the products. And this is the third page for the location, top 5 cities for the customers, and this is all the states. And this is 3 KPIs: customer state, customer city, and total freight value to deliver. Fourth page for the prediction. Here's the prediction graph, and here you can see the monthly sales prediction, and here is the KPI total sales, and the slicers, and here is the decomposition tree by the customer state, city, and year the sales, quarter, and monthly. And this is the narratives for the insights or whatever.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so thank you so much for giving us this time to our group. So the people in the group are Destiny, Margie, Marianne, Nefertari, Rushi, and myself. And what we're going to be presenting, we actually are working on money management, as well as taking a look at medical care to see if that's something that's causing debt. What we actually did in regards to how we're going to help with solving the problem, we investigated if healthcare is leading to debt by analyzing various aspects. So our reports delve into gender-specific healthcare usage, affordability, payment methods like out-of-pocket or insurance, as well as accuracy of patient billing. Additionally, we also wanted to examine which states are experiencing healthcare related debt. With this data, we also aim to address crucial questions related to the increasing cost of healthcare through data visualizations. Our exploration includes strategies for managing medical expenses, insights into effective approaches for handling medical debt, and also emphasizing the connection between physical well-being and financial health. We also wanted to be advocating for a holistic approach to navigate the challenges of medicine, money, as well as debt. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Ruchi. Thank you.
Thank you, Ziva. Thank you for sharing this information with our group. Hello, everyone. This is Ruchi. So here today, I am going to explain why we chose healthcare data. We choose healthcare data because healthcare data is rich with valuable insights that can lead to improvements in the patient care, operational efficiency, and overall healthcare management. And analyzing this data in Power BI can help uncover trends, pattern, and the area of optimization. And the next point is relevance. Now the question is how this data set is relevant to Power BI project. So the answer for this question is any data can be relevant, but the health data is highly relevant to the Power BI project for several reasons, like data-driven decision making, operational efficiency, and the trend identification, like in which month patient visit doctor most, and for the job aspects. And the next point is comprehensive. Comprehensive nature provides the holistic view of the healthcare system across the nation. Currently, the data currently the data which we have is less than 5 years data, and the nationwide coverage provides a diverse demographic insights. And in summary, this data sets provide to be a valuable tool for researcher, policymaker, and the health professional seeking accuracy and the current information for the decision making. And next slides explains how we did cleaning of data and transforming in data, and it's all the same like whatever we have learned in the classroom. So we just removed nulls value, blanked were removed, ensure more accurate and complete data set. Private and irrelevant information were removed to get the quality data. Yeah, and we got nice and refined data set to do analysis and the forecasting, all those things. So now I'm going to hand over to Margie. She will going to explain further.
Thank you, Ruchi. So you can see here, we used entity relationship diagram in Power BI as a picture that shows how different part of data are connected. It's like a map that help you understand which table are related to each other and how they share information. So we have used many-to-many and one-to-many relationship here. And for our project, we use parameter and DAX. You can see in the slide, like patient by state parameters. For DAX, we use forecasted insurance payment, forecasted gross change, and forecasted payment DAX formula. So I'm going to pass next slide to Marianne.
Thank you, Margie. Appreciate it. So for our dashboard, we try to incorporate it in a web universe. So it could be accessed through your phone, through your laptop, through your tablet, or even through your desktop if you have a large monitor. You can connect to your TV and slice and dice if you want it. So the user can view it and interact through this dashboard and have the seamless data-driven decision making using any type of devices. Then let's talk about KPIs and key learnings. So the KPI we had is a net collection data, which assesses effectiveness of the data we collected, where the insurance coverage talks about how much insurance pours into each and every claim, but in the end, there is still claim denial rate because the differences between the net collection rate and insurance coverage is still pretty large for the customer or consumer to cover it. So let's talk about the key learnings. For us, it was understanding first of all, the optimization for the revenue cycle management. So how often, what day of the month, or what month of the year the revenue collection happens, how it could be offset with payments done by individuals versus payments done by insurance coverage. And lastly, the key learning was navigating and managing financial risk so the consumer will not get into the collection agencies. And next, I will pass it on to Destiny. Please, Destiny, take it away.
Thank you, Marianne. Power BI Service is a cloud-based platform by Microsoft that allows users to publish, share, and collaborate on Power BI reports and dashboards. Users can access and interact with the reports in real time through a web browser, enabling seamless collaboration across teams and organizations. The service provides a centralized hub for data exploration, analysis, and decision-making, fostering a collaborative environment for users to work together on shared data sets and insights. With features like sharing, commenting, and subscriptions, Power BI Service enhances communication and knowledge sharing, making it a powerful tool for collaborative data-driven decision-making. Additionally, the platform enables users to schedule automatic data refreshes and maintain up-to-date information for more accurate and collaborative business intelligence. On this slide, I will highlight the topics shown and give a few details of some of the different challenges and learning objectives. So under skill set, a challenge would be collaborative learning can face resistance if team members lack some knowledge. Learning, foster a culture of knowledge sharing, recognize diverse skills, collective learning, and problem solving within the team. For the learning curve, a challenge would be handling a steep learning curve can be overwhelming without effective strategies for breaking down complex tasks. A learning point would be dividing tasks into manageable components. Team members should tackle challenges individually and focus on team efficiency. For time constraints, a challenge would be time constraints may lead the miscommunication and hinder project progress. Some learning points would be maintaining transparent and open communication within the team. Teams should recognize time-sensitive projects and focus on priorities. And last, for family work, a challenge would be balancing family and work commitments can create stress and affect overall well-being. A few learning points will be teams should focus on time management skills, ensuring a healthy work-life balance, positive environment for both professional and personal growth. Let me pass it to Marianne for a live demonstration.
Thank you, Destiny. Bear with me just a second. Let me show you our presentation. So as we mentioned before, we were able to put our slides, our dashboards on a website. So I'm gonna copy the URL and put it on chat so everybody can access it. We access it on our phones, so it's available in mobile and on desktop or web applications. So let me tell you the story behind our dashboards. In 2019 and 2020, there was a survey, actually has nothing to do with COVID. It was kind of independent on how the medical charges, which not backed up by insurance, affect average consumer and how the average consumer ended up with collection agencies. So in our overall slide or dashboard, you will see three major KPI, one for general charges, one for paid by insurance. Do you see the difference for almost 300,000? And then the remaining charges. Guess what this remaining charges? This is the collection charges. So whatever was not be able to covered by insurance and consumer, everything went to collection. Right here, you see the funnel breaking by state. The disclaimer, this information, this data, which came from Kaggle.com, was not nationwide. It was by Hospital and Clinic Association, which broke down in the states. For every state component we have throughout all the slides, we implemented custom tooltip to show the state breakdown. Right here, the total charges by gender and total payments by gender tells another interesting story. Guess who is more concerned or more taking care of themselves? Women. And guess who pays or taking care of their financial health? Women. Let's go into more details, and we'll start with location. I apologize. So right here, you see that the diagnosis charges per locations. And by breaking down these locations, you can see, of course, the application, and you see the yearly payments between 2019 and 2020.
Marianne, you can pause and get some water. We don't want you to.
How big of a gap
Yeah.
you see. Thank you so much. I
You're
apologize. Let's do another location. Another very telling story of that the 2019 payments and versus 2020 payments when the COVID hit. In every page, we implemented our sliders, so it's gonna be interactive and can, get more navigations. Let's move to the patients. So again, there's a custom tooltip where it gives you breakdown by the state. But right here, we're talking about the charges per age group and broken down by the state. Where on this slide, the charges, again, broken down, outstanding charges, broken down by age. It looks like our 29 years old are not in a very good financial standing because they still have way to go. And in this slide, you will see, again, the telling story from the slide overview that women goes to doctors more often than men, and they pay their own, part of insurance a little bit higher than men. Let's go and see what doctors do. I like the chart on the left the most because do you see it's like an iceberg. The top of it, the light blue is the charges by medical facilities, where darker blue is outstanding charges which needs to be paid. Underwater, you will see the yellow charges, which are sparse. This is insurance payment. And some of the green laced in, this is individual payment. And all of it broken by specialties. And because it's data 2019, 2020, the COVID era, of course, internal medicine, there's our family doctors are the most in demand of specialties. And you will see the daily charges. The reason behind that was to identify which days of the week are most prone to give influence of patients. As you see, it's Tuesday and Wednesday compared to Saturday and Sunday were minimal. And there's your breakdown by gender, by specialty. Again, the internal medicine, which is your family practitioner, leads the way. And let's go into diagnosis. This colorful chart, which looks like stained glass, shows you the most expensive procedures, which is no surprise, it is a heart disease. But I would like to draw your attention to this donut. Do you see the most charges, 92%, over 92% of occurred in December, and then followed by January. If you remember, that our insurance policies usually ends up in December and either renewed in January or changed to another policy in January or completely dropped off. So me, like a lot of us, and me included, I don't want to leave the money on the table to insurance company. So we hit our doctors' specialties in December the most. Where the chart underneath the donut is just a breakdown. Yellow indicates the general charges by medical providers. Blue, outstanding charges. And the green is charges which were paid. And we did a forecast. And here I used a lot of that formulas because it helped me to take to have a story about how we can tweak a little bit all this money management and have the gap between insurance underpaid, medical professionals overcharged, and not enough spare cash of the average consumer, how to bring the gap. So if you look at the chart in the bottom right, The blue line indicates the current charges. But if the medical professional start charging just 5% less, and another 5% less, and another one, do you see that the distance between what's charged and what could be lower starts gaining momentum? Next chart on the left, same situation, but in this case, if our insurance carriers will just add 5% more, and this is the yellow line, look, the difference in 100,000. So it again, the gap making smaller. And last but not least, the forecast payment by day by average consumer. Looks like in the beginning of the month, we are more optimistic and we put more money into right places, including, paying our medical debts. If we only increase by 5%, this gap, do you see, it's getting narrower and it's getting deeper. It means that we can pay our debts without getting into the collection. So this is the story of our data, and the reason we chose this data because of excruciating pain of overpriced healthcare. And in the end, this is the tooltip we used for demonstrating our breakdown by state. So let me go back to our presentation. So live demo.